And hello, my fellow owners out there. This is owner Richie, and oh my god, welcome back to Rectifier in Bloom. I am really tired. I'm very tired mostly because last video took way too long to upload last night. I had to stay up till freaking 12 just to be sure that it uploaded correctly. But now that that's out of the way, and I'm actually still kind of well rested. I still have some energy to spend. But I kind of wanted to do it on a game that won't take as long to record. So I'm here with Rectifier and Bloom. We're finally gonna start Emil's route. I've been excited to start this route ever since it came out. Ever since I finished Percy's route. Details. A Nephilim like yourself who has fallen from grace and come upon hard times. Even so, he's quite a sensitive individual who just wants to do the right thing. At least, that's how he appears. Will you get to know him for who he is, and not for what he once was? Of course. Oh, he blushed after you picked yes. Emil route. Take my breath away. Alright, let's continue. Your heart beats loudly in your chest. Your cheeks are flushed. Emil stands in front of you, shifting his weight from side to side. He starts wringing his hands together, then stops. Takes a deep breath and reaches out to take your hand in his own. Oh, already just jumping into it. Okay then. I love you. Your mouth feels dry. You have to speak, but what to say? He squeezes your hand ever so gently. I feel the same way. That's good. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you? You're welcome? Silence takes over the gentle conversation. Emil's eyes flick from your face to your joined hands, then again. Slowly, he pulls his hand away from yours, back to his side. So, marriage, huh? Stop. I can't take this. Leo grabs both your shoulders, his face aghast. You two are some of the worst actors I've ever seen. I mean, honestly, thank you? Emil, what are you thinking? I didn't know what to say. Oh, for the love of... Did either of you read the brief I gave you? I skimmed it. It was quite long. I am aware I wrote the bloody thing I had. Twice! He puts his hand on his face to his hand, and releases a deep-seated groan. He flashed an awkward smile at Emil, and he simply shrugs, looking away from the spectacle. You're supposed to be newlyweds, not school children bumbling their way through the first confession. I feel the same way. Where's the passion, Richie? The commitment. You have to say it with your chest. He stares at you, gesturing. Oh, like right now? Please. Okay? I love you. No, you can't just say it. You have to feel it. You have to show it. Dude, when did Leor become a freaking director in a movie or something? You furrow your brow, saying it and showing it feel like two very different things. Oh, whoops. Wait, can I just not go back? Shoot, log. Not to mention you're making it all up as you go. Why do we have to be newlyweds? Can't we just be ourselves? Yes, because that family is going to welcome two strange acquaintances to their house. What a fantastic idea, Nibbles. Thanks. Oh, never mind. Look, darlings, this plan is precious at best. I know that, but we don't really have time to think up of a new one. We could just, I don't know, not do it? That's not an option, and you know that. You know, if you didn't want help, you can just stay at the camp. Someone else can go in your place. You jump at the sudden voice behind you. How long has Greer been standing there? Based on the twinkle in his eye, long enough to have watched you and Emil embarrass yourselves. Easy for you to say. Greer slings an arm over your shoulder, and his stance completely relaxed. What? Like it's a hard job. Me and Richie would make a great fake couple, wouldn't we? Oh, we're doing an infiltration thing. Yeah, that works. Leor peels his arm off of you with a sigh. Which is exactly why why you have been, to put it nicely, banned from interfering, darling. As I recall, so were you. Yes, we're both wicked men who would take it too far and accidentally compromise the mission. You'd steal more than we went in there for. I'd say the wrong thing, and our poor angel would blow our cover. And I'm the last resort. No, you're the best option. Glyph would blow our cover being too nice. Percy would get too weird about it. Stills hasn't done anything romantic since the Stone Age, and Ren is even worse. If anyone's going to put on a show good enough to convince the innocent farmers to let you two thieves stay the night, it'll be you. Okay, can we go over the brief again? Of course, Nibbles. As Percy informed us, there is a small farmstead half a day's travel from our camp. They have the largest stockpile of Rim's breath herbs we've ever seen. Worm's breath? Worm, like a big snake. Don't interrupt me. Worm's breath is sort of infamous in New Hampton. Plenty of scam artists flog panaceas and claim it as their main ingredient. It is allegedly a cure-all. This is unlikely, but it is a proven treatment for a number of things. Many of the women I grew up around would use these cheap cure-alls to soothe their menstrual cramps. I hate the stuff personally. Tastes like moldy onions. In large enough doses, the herbs not only soothe pain, but relax the affected muscles to such an extent that future pain should be less intense. The ones sold in New Hampton never have enough of the stuff to do that, or we'd simply buy them there. But thankfully, our resident Dr. Stills believes he can fashion the raw herbs into a poultice. But should we be able to acquire 2 or 3 handfuls of the stuff, all the benefits with none of the oniony drawbacks. Of course, originally the plan was to do this all under Emil's nose, as a nice surprise for his pesky back pain, but somebody just had to put his big head in, and I don't have a big head, but his averagely sized head in and demand we let him help. And to be honest, we need it. Because a handful of this wormy shit costs a fucking fortune. Yes, it only grows in stupidly specific locations here in Costa. It'd cost more gold than we'd regularly make in a year. You could just duplicate all the cash we'd need, which would be an irresponsible use of my ability. Besides, those farmers have amassed such a stockpile they won't notice a few handfuls going missing. In a way, we're just redistributing the wealth. And our plan is to convince them to let us stay the night, right? Exactly, Angel. You two are playing the role of a poor, stranded married couple whose car broke down in a few hours walk away. You need somewhere to stay for the night, and this is the only location around for miles. You expect them to just let us in? Well, that's the hope. If it doesn't seem to be working, maybe put the workers on, fake an injury. Really ham it up. We want them to feel too guilty to turn you away. And once we're inside, talk to them, couple to couple. Try and get them to talk about their farm, their crops. We know vaguely where the stockpile is kept, thanks to Clip sniffing it out. But you'll have to find out what the security is like yourselves. Then, when it gets dark, the two of you will sneak out of whatever room they put you in, find the stockpile, take as many handfuls as you can carry, and sneak back. You'll have to spend the night there. We don't want them to get suspicious. Hide the herbs somewhere inconspicuous, like your socks, and then leave them in the morning. As little contact with the farmers as possible if you can. Seems like a lot of work just to be rid of some back pain. Please, you keep the rest of us up with all your tossing and turning all night. Do I? Not really, Nibbles. What the brute means is we don't like seeing you in pain. It's nothing. I've been dealing with it for years. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make it better. Suppose. I get what you mean, though. It's a bit daunting, isn't it? A lot could go wrong. Ren will be camping out nearby. If anything does go wrong, he'll be able to help. But first things first, you need to look like a believable couple. This was a long enough break. Let's get back to it. Lara pushes Emil to your direction. He stumbles, nearly tripping over himself. You wins. It's not exactly a good start. You glance over at Emil, who stands, stunned. It seems like neither of you are sure where to start. Look like a couple? Yes, darlings. If you can convince me that you two could be dating, I'll say you're ready. I'm your warm-up. He gestures to Emil, who is busy staring up at the clouds, ignoring him. You might have to take the lead. I don't think he has much romantic experience. Neither do I. Maybe not, but Justice does, doesn't he? Imagine that you're him, or that Emil is. Do whatever feels natural to you, Angel. Justice is always something of a heartthrob in your favorite books. Confident and chivalrous. Emil isn't really a shining display of those qualities, but then again, neither are you. You turn Lyra's advice over in your mind. Looking like a couple, what does it mean? Take it literally, confidently, use what you know. I mean, we barely pick any of the red options. I guess you could try to take it confidently. When you think of a couple, you think of bold, flirtatious gestures and public displays of affection. Emil wouldn't mind if you kissed him, would he? It's for the mission after all. We could kiss. Of course, gasps and choked sputtering tickles you. It was just a suggestion. Alright, no kissing. At least not while you're still practicing. Who knows what will happen later. Why would you? I'm just committed to the role. Right, your role. You have to get a good pose nailed. That'll be the farmer's first impression of you. You position yourself next to Emil, looping an arm around his waist and letting your hand settle on his hip. He turns rigid instantly, mouth agape. You glance at Lara for approval. Like this? That's good. Very natural. Your turn, Emil. He leans his head towards you at a near robotic slowness, resting it upon your shoulder. Lara applauds, grin ear to ear. Now this is a good start. You've almost got me fooled. You glance down at Emil, who only just managed to shut his mouth, dropped jaw. Is this fine with you? We'll work on the dialogue. New Hampton wasn't built in a day. Lara coaches you on the ins and outs of romance for the better part of an hour, giving you advice you wouldn't have dreamed of. What pet names are in fashion? How much touching is too much? All the details of your made-up love story. You could tell he got a bit carried away at parts. You aren't sure when estranged mother-in-laws and possibly baby names are going to come up in a conversation on a heist. The rest of the day was a whirlwind of prepping and planning. You've never doubted your friends' capabilities, but seeing them all come together like this is fascinating. It's easy to lose yourself in the chaos, time slipping by you as you prepare yourself. You've never planned a heist before. It's exciting. In the early evening, as you were walking to Ren's tent to go over his mapped out escape routes, you feel a tug at your wrist. Emil stands silently, tilting his head towards you, towards a quiet corner. Can we talk? You nod. He drops your wrist immediately, twisting his fingers into the ragged cloth of his shirt. Sorry, I know you're busy, but I didn't know if I was gonna get a chance to talk to you alone. Is everything okay? I was supposed to ask you that, Richie. I didn't know you could read my mind. That's because I can't. I'll believe it when I see it. But really, are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? Layer and Greer's plan is, well, it's a lot. We've made worse plans before and survived. We'll manage. That's not what I'm worried about. Pretending to be our cover. Is that okay? What do you mean? Is what okay? That's me. If you don't want me to, I won't. You blink rapidly, a little stunned. Why would I have a problem with it being you? I can think of a few reasons. I wouldn't blame you. Nobody would. We can come up with a different plan. Those herbs aren't exactly going anywhere. They could wilt? Well, my back aches aren't going anywhere either. We'll try again next year. You smile to yourself, contemplating what reasons he may have had for worrying about this. You can't think of a reason why he'd make a bad heist partner. Maybe he isn't the most experienced thief, but neither are you. There's no point in dwelling on it. You decide you'll just have to prove him wrong. With laughter, with compassion, with companionship. With companionship, obviously. You think what Emil needs most in the moment is a good friend. You can do that, you think. You sit on the ground cross-legged and pat the ground next to you, but there's no point in standing for this bit. Well, it'll be better if you're comfortable. Emil stands there confused for a few seconds, too long. You pat the ground again, a little harder this time. He seems to get the gist, sitting down next to you. If this is how you want to break the news to me, we could have done this standing. No, Emil, I want to talk to you. Why don't you think I want to run this heist with you? He pauses, his eyes wide. It looks like you've caught him off guard. You can't tell if it's good or bad. I figured it was obvious. Well, it isn't. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Our cover will require a lot of saying things and touching. I find most things do. Romantic touching. Even if it doesn't mean anything, it's still a lot. I'm just saying I'd understand if you preferred someone else to come with you. I want to help, don't get me wrong, but I'm sure there's something else I could do. He trails off, lost in thoughts. You reach out, placing one of your hands over his. I trust you with this. We're going to do fine. He flinches, yanking his hand away and dropping it to his lap. He doesn't make eye contact with you. But he's smiling. You're glad to see him feeling better, even if you couldn't really do much. A silly thought crosses your mind. Do you mind your fake partner being me? No, of course not. Exactly. That's not fair. It was on topic. Besides, you asked me first. Although, if you had to pick someone else in the group to fake marriage with, who would it be? Stills. Really? He seems like he would be respectful, and he's already been married once. I feel like he'd know what to do. But I think it would be hard to convince him to play along, so maybe not. Who would you pick? Oh, if I had to pick one of these? Dang.
Oh, this is actually a pretty hard choice. Okay, it's not too hard of a choice. Like, personally, he's redeemable, but he's still not my favorite. But then you have to put Greer and Layor as choices.
I mean, I like both Greer and Layor. They're two of my favorite characters. I mean, I guess I'd probably pick Greer. I ain't gonna lie. He's a thief, so I wouldn't have to worry about the actual stealing. And I can appreciate a man with a certain suaveness to him. Emil mumbles something, you strain your ears to listen. Suave. I can try to do that. Did you say something? It's nothing, just thinking. Honestly, I'm glad it's you. The other guys are great, but Layor was right. You really are the best pick for this. Maybe wait until after we're finished. Things can still go horribly wrong yet. I doubt it. We've put so much into this plan, it'll take nothing short of a disaster to stop us. I admire your conviction. I hope you're right. A sudden cough breaks the easy conversation. You glance behind you to find Ren standing a few feet away, arms crossed over his chest. Ah, the escape routes. I have to go. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. You watch him You wave him goodbye as you jog over to Ren. With any luck, your lecture about time management will be over before evening. Though, to be honest, you'll be lucky to get any rest at all, early bedtime or not, with all this buzzing nervous energy inside of you. By the time you're leaving camp for your farmstead, you've gone over the plan so many times you could recite it in your sleep. But it isn't until you're practically on the farmer's doorstep that the real nerves start to set in. Emil glances at you, concerned. You ready? As ready as I'll ever be. It's okay. The panic makes our story more believable. You have to swallow your surprise slaughter as he. Or you mean you get slaughtered? You guys mean laughter, right? As he slings an arm around your shoulders, knocking on the farmer's door with surprising confidence. For a moment, nobody answers. You fear all this has been for nothing. But then there's the yapping bark of a dog and a series of hurried steps as the door swings open. Hello there. Can I help you too? I'm sorry for bothering you, but my spouse and I were on our way to Leona when our car's wheels fell off. We've been walking for over an hour, but your farm is the only thing we've been able to find. Could we trouble you for directions to the nearest town? Oh, sweet pea, I'm sorry, but our farm's set up in the middle of nowhere. The nearest town from here is a couple hours away by cart. Never mind trying to walk. I feared as much. Well, thank you anyway. How are your legs doing, my love? Still inflamed? You try not to show your surprise. He's good at this. Why is he so good at this? They're still tender, but we don't have much choice, do we, love? I can try carrying you again, but we haven't done that since our wedding night. You pat his arm, smiling in a way you hope is warm and tender. I don't want to put your back out again, dear. Sorry if I'm intruding, but are you injured, sweet pea? Only a little. We were on our way to Leona to visit a healer friend of ours for my legs. It's a struggle to walk long distances and stand for too long, but I make do. Always have. Oh dear, I'd hate to think you walk all the way to Leona in your condition. Hold on, let me ask my husband something. She disappears in the doorway and you turn to Emil, grinning. It's working! Can't believe it! Did you see their dog? Oh, is it cute? Hell, no. Well, yes, it's a cute dog, but it means we'll have to be real quiet tonight. Oh, good catch. I didn't think of that. The farmer's wife returns with a wide grin. See, my husband's actually making a trip to Leona tomorrow to drop off some of the produce. He'd be happy to take the pair of you as well if you don't mind spending the night here. Oh, we'd hate to intrude. Don't be silly. It's so rare for us to have guests all the way out here. It'll be a nice change of pace for us. If anything, you're doing us a favor. You're too kind. If there is any way we can repay you, please let us know. Well, I might ask for your help making dinner tonight, but that's all. Now please, come in. Introduce yourselves. Ooh, okay, this is actually a pretty nice looking place in here. The farmer's wife ushers you inside. Yeah, I found another typo here, devs. You got a lot of typos to fix. The cottage is decorated more humbly than you anticipated. Clusters of dried flowers line the walls. The cup she serves you tea in is chipped. You'd imagine riches and finery with the extent Greer and Lyora went on about how much the herb cost. My name is Nellie. I share this farm with my husband, Louis. It's hard work, but we enjoy it. You'll have to excuse him not being here. It's a busy season for us right now. What about yourselves? My name is Emil. It's nice to meet you, Nellie. This is my spouse, Richie. Oh, don't you two make a cute couple? How did you guys meet? Lyra gave you a veritable list of ideas for possible backstories, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stick to them. You can always make something up. It could be fun. You decided to go with... something sweet. Like, we're taking all the options today. We've known each other since we were kids, actually. Oh, that's adorable. I always wish I'd met Louis when we were younger. Never feels like there's enough time in a day when you're here, when you're with the one you love, you know? You said it. We spent a lifetime together, and it doesn't feel like enough. I'd do it all over again if I had the chance. The softness in his voice takes you off guard. You try to continue with your story, even if your cheeks flush. Nellie's gentle giggles aren't helping. We grew up in the same village. It was so small we were practically neighbors. Our mothers were friends, and our grandmothers were friends. And their grandmothers were probably friends too. Emil is a year or so older than me. But when we were little, I thought he hung the moon. He was the coolest thing around by miles. I used to follow him around everywhere. We were teenagers when I asked him to go on a date. I was terrified. We'd known each other for our whole lives. What was I supposed to do if they said no? Or worse, what if they said I was like a brother to them? I'd have to leave the village out of shame. But we were growing up and running out of time. I knew if I didn't say something I'd regret it for the rest of my life. He asked me out with a bouquet of flowers he dug out of his mother's garden. It's still the best present he's ever given me, and I had nothing to give him in return. I was so embarrassed. Please, there's no better gift than getting to love you. Your cheeks flushed darkly, and you tried to look anywhere but at the two of them. Well, you're welcome. Their shared laughter only makes you blush darker. Your combined shock and embarrassment is interrupted by a clanking whine of door hinge. The clanking whine of door hinges. And a man you can only assume is Louis stands in the doorway with a broad smile. Ah, guests! I actually had no idea what voice to give him. He crosses the room quickly, pressing a kiss to his wife's head, before reaching out to shake your hand. It's good to meet you. Sorry about your cart. They were just telling me how they met. An adorable little story makes me jealous we don't have a better one. Have you ever shown them their room yet, Nels? Or have you been busy gossiping? We were just getting to that. If you must know. Come, you must be tired. I'll show you where you'll be staying. Louis gives you a cheery wave as his wife marches off. You and Emil have to scramble to keep up. Blankets are all fresh. We don't have guests as often as we like, but we still keep the guest room clean. I'll let you get settled in if you need anything at all. I'll be in the kitchen. She shuts the door behind her, and Emil lets out a sigh of relief, but all but collapsing onto the bed. It was hard. Really? It seemed to come to you pretty naturally out there. If you say so. No, really, Emil. Where did that come from? You didn't do anything like that when we were with Laor. It's hard to make stuff up. Needed to be real to remember how to do it. Remember? I thought you didn't have any experience. I never said that. It didn't seem relevant, so I didn't bring it up. You sit down on the bed beside him. He's flat out on his back, hands crossed over his stomach. Didn't seem relevant? That could have really helped us plan things out. You looked like you had a good time making things up as you go. I did it, but that's not the point. Why didn't you tell us? Does it matter? It's in the past. Decades in the past. Whoever I was then, clearly I am not the same person now. I didn't mean to pry. I'm sorry. It's fine. It isn't anything. Just forget it. You don't know if you can. Your mind is reeling with possibilities of secret historic romance. But Emil seems uncomfortable, so you drop it. The farmers seem really nice. Too nice. I feel bad we're supposed to be stealing from them. I know. Honestly, I think if we just asked them about it, they'd send us off for a couple of handfuls free of charge. Maybe they seem nice now, but it might be a front for... Emil sits up suddenly, clutching his shoulder. He winces, sucking it in a long, shallow breath. Are you okay? Yeah, just give me a second. Is it your back? He nods, and your heart sinks. Stealing herbs to make a magical painkiller is all well and good, but there's nothing you can do about the pain now. You feel useless, watching him flinch and writhe in pain. There has to be something you can do. Do you need anything? I can get you water or something. I'm fine. Usually I just wait it out. His breathing is so labored it's hard to listen to. Just sitting around waiting for it to go away won't do. Can I rub your shoulders? It might help. Emil stops, jaw dropped. He looks like he's about to refuse, but another wave of pain rolls over him, and he winces before nodding. You scooch forward, letting him settle between your legs. Is is it okay if I take your shirt off? Yeah. His back is littered with pockets of scar tissue. You can see the muscles twitching underneath the skin. You run the tips of your fingers across his scapula. Scapula? I've never heard of that word. And he shudders. Your hands are so cold. Is that bad? No, it feels. He lets a content sigh. His tense muscles relaxing under your gentle touch. Good. It feels good. That's all the confirmation you need to get to work. Light caresses giving way to deep kneading, working through the tension as patiently as you can. It's tiring work, made all the harder as Emil squirms and arches his back away from your hands. You try to ignore his breathless panting and short groans. They're groans of pain, not something else. You try not to imagine what Nellie and Lewis think is going on in here. You don't know how long you sit there, your hands in his bare back and shoulders, but eventually he stops shuddering and groaning, his breath slow and rhythmic. He hasn't told you to stop, so you press on despite the beginning flares of pain in your wrists. It isn't until he snores that you realize he's fallen asleep. The conversation must have taken more out of him than you realized, and you have a long night ahead of you still. There's nothing wrong with a little nap now. All it takes is a gentle shove and he tips forward, face planting face planting the pillows. But he wraps his spindly arms around the stuffed pillow almost immediately, drilling it to his chest. It's kind of cute. He seems to always freeze up when people try to touch him. Who knew he was such a sleepy cuddler? You get up to leave and give him some privacy when you hear a muffled murmur between his snores. Thanks, love. You wonder who he's thinking about. You wonder if it's you. But it couldn't be. The fake you may be. The people you're both pretending to be. His previous lovers aren't up out of the question either. It leaves an odd feeling in your tummy. Maybe you can ask him who he was dreaming about when he wakes up. Blaine by Blaine by then you'll have to decide you'll have decided whether you want to know. You shut the door behind you as gently as possible as you leave. Maybe Nellie needs help with dinner. Emil doesn't reemerge from your bedroom in time for dinner. You explain the situation to Nellie as best you can, and she seems sympathetic. She even packs up leftovers of your meal for him to eat when he wakes. The dinner is good, hearty. You try and you try to get as much info of Nellie as you can while helping her cook and clean. It's fun to chat with her. She has all kinds of interesting stories about farm life. You end up getting some useful tips too. When you retreat to your room for the night, plate of leftovers in hand, you feel more confident in the heist than ever. You can hear Emil snoring before you even open the door. Did he sleep at all the night before? He's been out for hours now. Maybe his back spasms just really take it out of him. He always disappears into his tent for the rest of the day when they strike. You wouldn't be surprised to discover if he tries to sleep them off. You set the leftovers on the table in the room and settle down in one of the chairs beside it. Picking up a book to thumb through, you, you have some time to kill while you wait for Emil to wake up. It'd be best to do the actual theft late in the night, but anyway, you want to you want the rest of the household to be in bed at the very least. Okay, this is ridiculous. He's been asleep for hours. If you don't wake him up now, you don't know if he'll ever wake up again. There isn't much time to lose. The sun's already set, the stars twinkling in the sky. There's only one thing to do, but how to do it? Bruh, shake his arm. You don't want to startle him too much, partly because you have the feeling he's a grumpy sort when he's woken up so abruptly. Probably because you're still worried about his aching back. You pick the most sensible path, carefully placing your hand on his arm and slightly shaking it. Wake up! You add helpfully in case he hasn't gotten the memo. Somehow, your straightforward approach seems to do the opposite, as Emilio brings your arm to his chest, all but nuzzling his face into your palm. You stare at him. He snores. The plan was a failure. You resolve to try again, with more force this time. Emil, wake up! You tap his face a few times with good measure, and he blurrily opens his eyes. It takes him a few seconds to realize what exactly he's clinging to. He drops your hand like it's burned him, sitting up with such speed you worry about he's about to break the bed. Hello, is it heist time? And a heist. A mutual agreement not to talk about it. You can work with that. You can work with that. You have more important things to be doing than trying to make sense of what a man does while he's asleep. You get ready in silence. Not that there's much to prepare. A small bag for stolen goods. A candle for light. Smuggled leftovers to tie over the farm dog. Within a matter of minutes, it's go time, and you're out in the landing trying to avoid cheap, creaky floorboards. Getting into the barn is one thing, but sneaking out of the cottage is another. Emil might have the benefit of going invisible, but you still have to make it out of the house unseen. Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Emil can go invisible. We're in Nephilim just like them. Why don't we just go invisible too? Like, come on, you can't tell me all Nephilim don't have the same powers. You'd think anyone who might be listening when you manage to make it out of the cottage without incident. The night air is cool and rewarding. You said their main stockpile is in the barn in the west. Do you see it? You squint out the horizon. Sure. And sure enough, you can just make out the shape of a building out in the dark. Yeah, this is it. Good luck. What? I'm not going alone. You're coming with me. If you insist. He rolls his eyes, but smiling. He always planned to come along. As you cross the sandy plains, you realize that the barn is far bigger than you were expecting. A warehouse is more comparable. You hope the herb is stored somewhere obvious. Maybe they labeled it? Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video here for now. We'll finish the Emil route, next time, so... Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think. Share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason